Hey, what's up, everybody? Mario Manduni here. It's my third video in my series on sneak attack and other accelerated bid manual bidding strategies. Right. So yeah, things are just rocking. So we tripled up the profits again since the last video, and let's get into it. Okay. So I'm calling this the day trading with the sneak attack and the ambush strategy. Right. So the idea here is that like the baseline of all this, all this success and all these profits is, running sneak attack exactly how it is. And then what you do is once you have some optimization from the sneak attack, you can start doing things where you just crank the bid up and crank the budget up. And you're basically calling it, you're ambushing people, right? Because you're just doing your sneak attack thing, picking off the remnant inventory like Tim talks about. And then all of a sudden, you're just the bully in the room for like 30 minutes, an hour, a couple hours, and you're buying up some quality stuff because you've just jacked your bid up, and your budget if you want to at the same time. But mainly it's the bid that moves things really quickly. You jack your bid up 30, 40, 50, 70%, and you go after some higher quality traffic. In this strategy here, you see that this particular day, we day parted it. It worked really well, right? So, yeah, if we look at October, we tripled our profits up again. We were about 70,000 net on this, and yeah, I mean, this has just been awesome. This it's working on some smaller accounts as well. The sneak attack is some accounts where nothing else is working at all, just bringing in a few G's profit a month on, stores like a POD store and a store that has some inventory on that just nothing was working. Like the cost per purchases were just absolute garbage on some other stuff. Like I'll show you in this one here. If we look at, let's look at the whole month until now when I've been doing sneak attack. Okay, so I'm getting, made a few G's. Cost per purchase, that leaves me with about 40-50% profit margin at that price in this store. But if you look at, everything else we got, cost per purchases were on anything else in this account. We're just basically hideous, right? Except for the sneak attack, which is coming in at 21 versus, everything else was just nothing was working except for sneak attack on this account. So sneak attack brought this thing back to life, but I've not gotten the optimization yet on that one to be able to do, the kind of ambush strategy that I'm talking about here, which is where you sneak attack is your baseline, and then you're ambushing and cranking up the bid when you have the opportunity to do so, when the traffic's good, and you want a lot of it, right? You want a lot of it fast. Okay, so I'll go through the bullet points of that. So yeah, so sneak attack is the baseline. Sneak attack is just the foundation of everything we're doing here. You need that optimization at the account and the ad set level, especially like you need a breakout day on one or two ad sets, and then they're kind of locked in, and you're able to get more consistent results with sneak attack and with ambush. Especially with ambush, you have to have that optimization. There's just no chance, right? So I'm day parting, right, by looking at the historical patterns of the particular days of the week, factoring in, holidays and things like that, right? So when I'm sort of rushing the open, right, pacing is an issue, right? And if you want to have a day where there's like a double top, then pacing becomes an issue with that too, right? So if we look at this, this day was badass. I think we put $5,000 in our pocket, maybe 6 that day. And so the beginning of the day was pretty good, right? We rushed it. We got one good hour. It's probably like not my target ROAS, so I just went ahead and lowered budgets, lowered bids, let sneak attack just trickle in some freebies, right, during the day. And then in the afternoon, crank the bid up, and it was, the really good traffic I was looking for, right? And then we were able to have a great day that way, right? Oh, the Europe changed their time a week before us, and this ad account I'm running at GMT +1 Irish time, and we're targeting the U.S. only, right? So you'll see a lot of days where I'm pretty much just like rushing the open, right, and doing a lot of the sales in the first few hours of the day. Let me find a good day. So there's an example of that. Hold on. Let's see if we can find a good day here. Yeah, like a day like that, right? So where you do like $4 or $5,000 real quick in the first couple hours of the day, and then you just drop it down to a sneak attack. And the sneak attack is just bringing you in high ROAS sales for the rest of the day, right? So that stopped working, I don't know, somewhere around the 20th maybe as well. No, it worked that day. There was a point in time this month where Europe time change started to mess with me. before the U.S. time change came in. Maybe it was around the 24th. Yeah, here we go, right? So I couldn't rush the open that day. So in order to be able to take a swing at it later in the day, I'm capped at $5,000 in spend on this. The reason I'm not raising that is because I've been in penalty collecting signals for 8 weeks. So this strategy is, getting phenomenal returns, profitable every single day since the end of August, by the way, except for when we were disabled. And I've never had a strategy this consistent. So we're getting these kind of returns while we're under penalty. So we're paying more for CPMs. But when I'm under penalty, I don't poke the bear. So I'm not asking Facebook for a raise here and spend for a manual review because, with our page scoring trouble, I'm not trying to poke that bear when we're putting $3-4 a day in our pockets for profit here, right? So anyway, so all of a sudden with this, with the time change, it's kind of screwed up my pacing. So when your pacing's like this, if you're like successfully rushing the open with like this ambush strategy, right? You want to have a high budget relative to your cap, like, it'll be like $4,000 maybe, or 3 or 4, high threes or $4,000 in one of the ad sets, and maybe like $1,000 in the other ad set that's just starting to optimize now. And then, rush that in. When you do that, it's a lot harder if you do a lot of your volume at a higher budget, or for longer parts of the day. It's a lot harder to get a swing at it again later in the day, just because of pacing issues. And I'm sure some people in here know the math on that I don't. I just know how it feels, right? So I did make an adjustment for that and start doing some more stuff in the evening when I had a better chance to take a swing at it, because just that 1 hour difference in time was screwing up the optimization, or it was screwing up delivery. And it's just basically hard for me to get that quality traffic, because this is 7 p.m. Eastern, but then all of a sudden it became 8 p.m. Eastern until the U.S. time changed, right? So that was a factor in the way that we were pacing this out for October as well. Okay. Okay, so we started to get some optimization in a worldwide campaign, which has been nice, because if we look at last month, we had some really nice cost per purchases on this worldwide campaign, and it's only 10% of the sales. But it's just running sneak attack. I can't ambush with this one. I can't rush it. Probably just because it's targeting so many countries, right? It's just excluding U.S. and fraud countries. And then sometimes to get to my daily spend cap, high 4s to 5, I'll have to turn this thing off, even if it's getting a better ROAS, because I can get more sales at a lower ROAS and then net more by maxing out, trying to get the whole, $4,500 or $5,000 spent out of this one, right? Okay, so back to that. We've been in penalty, and we're still able to make these results when I know a lot of people are having some trouble here. And I highly recommend you guys play around with this. It's just been the most consistent money I've ever made in the 4 years I've been doing this, because I took a year off. And it's worked on a handful of accounts. It's worked on like 5 out of 6 accounts for me this year. And a lot of the money was made in Signal under penalty too, when no other strategy would work. And then, I even have a company where I have inventory on it. And if you look at this one, if you look at October to now, nothing else is working. We're getting these high cost per purchases that like maybe 35 is break even or something like that. Like nothing else worked except for the sneak attack campaign in this one. And that's been able to put a few G's in our pocket on that one. It just hasn't gotten to the point where it's optimized enough for me to try the ambush, rapid spend strategies effectively. But the sneak attack's been the only thing working in this account. It's the only thing working in a POD account I have. It's the only thing working as a retargeting strategy in some other accounts that I'm running. So, having sneak attack as the baseline of your scaling, and then using something like ambush to just crank it up, has been absolutely awesome for us this year. Okay. So here's a little bonus golden nugget that some of you guys probably figured out this week with all the shenanigans going on with Facebook banning accounts and stuff. When, anything's, especially whenever I'm in Signal and under penalties, I do a lot of drop shipping. I won't launch new ads anymore. I'll just work with what I got. I'll play with the bids. I'll get things optimized. I'll run, shotgun strategy. I'll run manual bidding strategies, especially accelerated spend like this. And I'm just turning on and off ad sets. I'm changing the bids. I'm changing the budgets. And I don't really mess with anything else. I don't even make a new creative and throw it in there because, you know, like there was one I did 600,000 on early this year. And every time when I was in Signal collecting collecting Signal with under penalty, right? The every time I launched an ad, the ad account would get disabled. It got disabled 3 times in a day and a half. So I just stopped running new ads. So one thing you guys can do if you have something optimized and you're making money and you're kind of on the ropes with Facebook, just don't launch new ads and just, you know, get something like this optimized, and you know, you're gonna have a better time, right? And like I said, we've been profitable with this every single day since the end of August when it locked in and had like that breakout day. And there's no other strategy I found out there that's been that consistent for me with dropshipping, especially, right? This is a very, very saturated product, and I'm in Signal, and it's highly profitable. So I can imagine, you know, some of you guys that have real brands properly implementing this would just, it could be a game changer for you. It's been a total game changer for me. And I'm looking forward to, you know, being unleashed on a bigger ad account to run the strategy on that I've been playing around with for the last, I've been playing around with this ambush strategy now for about 4 or 5, 6 months. And, you know, I've been doing sneak attack all year. It's been awesome, right? Okay. Like I said, this, sneak attack on smaller projects, only thing that's working right now. Pretty much everything I do is accelerated spend now, as soon as I can. Other than testing and maybe like your first 50 or 100 sales, maybe at break even or a small loss, just to feed the pixel, figure out which creatives are working, do some creative testing, some interest testing, all that stuff. And then I'm right into sneak attack and ambush. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and ask me any questions you want. Reach out to me. Let's kill it for Q4. It's not the easiest Q4 of all time, but it's going to be a big one. So let's go get it.